You can kick rocks if you don't like how I talk. I'm gonna keep on talking and walk my walk. Ain't changing my tone, ain't changing my song. I was born this way, been loud too long. You can hate my style, you can roll your eyes, but I ain't slowing down. I was born to rise, so kick them rocks if you don't like how I talk. I'm gonna keep on talking and walk my walk. I've lost some friends, made a few new foes, but that's just life, that's how it goes. I ain't bending over just to please a crowd. If I fall down, I'll fall down proud. I talk my truth, I live my way. Ain't nobody gonna take my say. This road's been rough, but I learned to trade it sweat, soul, and dues I paid. You can kick rocks if you don't like how I talk. I'm gonna keep on talking and walk my walk. Ain't changing my tone, ain't changing my song. I was born this way, been loud too long. You can hate my style, you can roll. Okay, hey, how you doing, everybody? Welcome back. And you know what time it is? It's time to share the message, share it out there, and we'll get a show on for you. But we got to share it out there and get up the people to know that I'm here. And the rest of it, that's how it works, right? That's how it works, right? You share the fact out. And then the naked light I saw, the thousand people screaming, people talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs, and voices never share. To no one there, disturb the sound of silence. Fools say that you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words and I teach you. Hear my words and I teach you. Not my words, I fire and rage on them. Echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made. And the sign flashed out in his forehead, and the words that it was for me. And the sign said the words from the prophets of beyond the subway walls and tenements halls, and whispered in the sound. And in the midnight I saw 10,000 people screaming, people talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs, and voices never share. To no one there, disturb the sound of silence. Fools say that you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words and I teach you. Hear my words and I teach you. Not my words, I find and rage on them. Echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made. And the sign flashed out in his forehead, and the words that it was for me. And the sign said the words of the prophets of beyond the subway walls and tenements halls, and whispered
Okay, so share it out, guys. We got 35. No, what do we got? 25. Sorry. We got 25 in here. We can wait a little longer. I don't really give a shit. Uh,
I hope it's just around the corner. Hold your head up high, see eyes you were born to fly. Hope it's just around the corner. Hold your head up high. Hold your head up high. Memories can hurt you. How the words can burn you. Can you feel it? Turning your heart to stone. Life can be a nightmare. Leave you feeling so scared. What are you gonna do? Where are you running to? I'm begging you please to hang on. Hang on. I'm begging you please to hang on. Hang on. Hold your head. Hold your head. It's just around the corner. Hold your head. I see. Hold your head.
okay. What do we got now? 25. Last one. I'll tell you why today is going to be an interesting video, okay? And we got 27 in here, and this is going to build because I'm not going to do a show unless we get a number of Canadians in here. Okay. I mean, I put out extra money of my pension. There's some donors that support the channel, but it's not on an ongoing basis, okay? People are donating when they can afford it and whenever. But that still leaves me holding the bill, okay? So I'm paying extra money from my pension to be able to bring you a broadcast. Okay, now we're up to what is it? Fucking glasses. We're up to 29, okay? So I'm still paying to give you a broadcast. Okay? The least you could do is to share the message out there. That's the least you could do. That's what I'm asking you to do. And when I see this number, that means it's not getting shared out there. You're sitting there like this is some kind of entertainment show. Okay? It's not entertainment. All right? I talk to you because our country is in a deep world of hurt. Okay? I can see it because I'm a rather intelligent guy. Okay? For example, when COVID hit, all right, I didn't put a fucking stupid mask on my face. In fact, I picked up a $2,800, no, sorry. Uh, yeah, I think it, what was it? Yeah, I think it was $22,800 for that COVID ticket that I picked up in Chamberlain. Okay, but it got reduced through court. I pled guilty to the fucking thing because, like, they dragged it out on me, dragged it out, and I'm working now. I'm in Vancouver. I can't get to no court case. So I says, okay, what's the fucking deal here? So they dropped it down to $1,800, which I had no fucking intention of paying, but they took it out of my taxes. So long story short here is this. Okay. I do not like what's going on in the country. Okay. So I started over 10 years ago broadcasting, and what you see today is the Rudy Bruce broadcast. So that's just to give you a little enlightenment as to when I ask you to share it. I mean it.
Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go.
Oh, we got a little alert coming up, which is all bullshit.
Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go.
Well, we have now, I see 36, 36 in here. 32, sorry. You know, it's pitiful. It's just pitiful that it is what it is. Let's see. Let's see here. Uh, I can see, for example, I get notifications from Facebook when people share. Okay. On Facebook, I'm on 3 different platforms also, by the way. Now, on Facebook, I'm getting 18 viewers on Facebook. Okay. So between YouTube and X are the other 2 that are making up the difference of the 30 people now in here. Okay. That's pretty interesting. Now, if I go on to Facebook and I'm looking at who shares, there should be 19 people at least sharing. So on Facebook, are you people sharing? Okay. Do you not have a share button? Okay. Like I have a share button. I can push it right now onto feed. Here, I'll show. Okay. So there it is. I've just posted it now on feed. Okay, posting. Okay, posted. Okay, so we have got 29 in here and 19, 17 now on Facebook. Well, that's real fucking interesting, okay? Because I'll tell you something. This show today is about how separated or how disconnected Canadians are from the politics in their country. In other words, Canadians that don't give a shit about their country. Okay. Now, there's supposedly 39 million Canadians in Canada. All right. For 10 years now, I've been broadcasting and I've been explaining a lot of shit in Canada. Okay. A lot of shit in 10 fucking years. And I've got, and this was all since the ostrich farm. Okay. I've got, certain people that'll dig into your past and bring up bullshit that happened 40, 50 years ago. Okay. Because I'm like 66 now, right? Do I give a shit? No. Do I give a shit about certain individuals want to do it dirty and tape a conversation. And they're telling me they've got this donation on the hook, and they just wanted to clarify. Well, listen, I have nothing to hide, okay? I don't give a flying fuck if you want to dig into my fucking past and pull out some fucking court docket that happened way the fuck back when, okay? And I'm not going to get into it because it's none of your fucking businesses as far as I'm concerned, okay? Because, first of all, out of 39 million Canadians, you give I'm not all guys, because there was quite a few at the Kelowna protest. Those were the Canadians standing up for this country. But there's 39 million Canadians. Those posts were over 2 weeks old before that show. Okay, that we were going to do a massive demonstration right across the country, not just Kelowna. Now, the number of people that showed up to that fucking protest was, I would estimate, and I could be off, but it was less than 2,000 people. Less than 2,000 people. Do you register that? All right. So anyway, we got these certain individuals that want to fucking, pull dirt up on me and fucking point the finger at me, you know? And I say, and I've said it before in other shows, I could give a flying fucking rat's ass, okay, what people got to say about me. I don't give a fuck. Because I'll tell you why I don't give a fuck. Because all my life, I've had to struggle my ass off in this country as a Canadian. Over 10 years ago, that's why I started the show, was because something had to be done. And what was the main fucking focus of what I started talking about was the social services departments across Canada, because every province is different. But none of those social services departments ever fucking really helped anybody except to keep them fucking in poverty. And unless you scratched your ass and fucking, fucking clawed your way up to a certain point where you wanted to be, you were going to be fucked. And I did that for myself. I clawed my way out of wherever fucking situation I was in. Okay. And I became the best fucking trucker in Canada. One of them, anyway. And when you can say you've trucked for over 40 years without having a fucking tractor trailer accident or hitting a ditch, then you can say you're as good as me. Until then, go fuck yourself. The trucking industry was ruined. The fucking commercial industry of driving was fucked with. All through it. All through my shit. So no, I never had it easy in Canada. Okay? And I had to wait another fucking 3 months just to get my fucking retirement in order. On top of that, when I turned 65, you're allowed to retire. Okay? Well, how do you retire without any fucking money? Because I I stopped working in this country before I hit that 65 retirement date. I was fucking done a year before I retired. Because I was sick and tired of this fucking bullshit. But getting on to today's show, my question here is, are Canadians basically giving a shit about their country? It doesn't look to me like you are. I mean, some of you are, but not all of you. Definitely not all of you. Out of 49 million, supposedly 49 million Canadians in Canada, there was less than 2,000 people that showed up for a protest that was supposed to send a message to the fucking government that we had had enough. Now, this has been going on for 10 years for me. I only asked you guys for one fucking day. One day. And why was it so important that one day? Well, take a guess. Take a wild fucking guess. Okay. Here, you want me to show you an example? Let me see if I can show you an example. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see if I can show you an example.
This is Energy Court in Sudbury, Ontario. There's tons of homeless places everywhere. And you guys want to spend billions of dollars trying to take guns to save what? 1 to 5 lives? Right? Meanwhile, you have homeless people, families, elderly, everywhere because this country's been run like shit for so long that you're all broke. You know you can't afford it. And even if you have a decent job, you can barely afford it. So what about those being a place to live who have kids? We have mothers losing their children because they don't have a home, can't afford a rental place. So Children's Aid is going to take their kids and send them where? The problem's you, Canada. That's what I'm saying. And I don't want to be overly rude about it, but it is. You're not making good choices and you're making shitty votes because you sit in your house or protected and you don't have to face the hard facts. The truth is, this country's being run like shit and you're voting to make shitty decisions. So get your heads out of your ass, people, and start voting for the right things and stop wasting money on stupid shit like rainbows and guns. People need food and housing. They're called needs, not wants.
Okay. I'm not the only guy out here saying shit. So you can't tell me, okay, that people don't know what's going on. Can't tell me that, okay? Because you all know what the fuck is going on, right? I mean, I can't be the only smartest guy in Canada. I mean, that would be absolutely fucking inconceivable. That I would be the only smart guy in Canada. Does that make sense to you? It don't make sense to me.
Who's homeless. It's been living here since a good 3 months. He has an old camper, which he installed a little Franklin, as you can see, and he has taken up pallets that he breaks up and he uses as firewood. So this is an area which I won't mention because I don't want him to have any problems with the law. But just to say, this is the reality of living in Canada after having the Liberal Party in power for the last 10 years. So just a reality check for those that want to know. Have a good.
Why do you think that there's so many people that are homeless in Canada? Okay? One of the richest countries in the world, with all of the resources in Canada, we have thousands of people in the cold, out on the streets, living in their whatever they can live in, and some don't have shit. Some don't even have a tent. And this has been going on for some time. And look at this. There's only 33 of you in here. Okay? And you all think that everything is normal, that everything is okay in Canada. But let's not forget the motherfucker that wants to, you know, try and point the finger at me for what I did over I don't know how many years ago. Try and make an issue of it. You want to hear it? Let me see if I can dig it up. Now, this was a recorded phone call, not by me, but by him. Now, I'm going to point out something here first before we get into this. I'm going to show you this. I don't really give a fuck. Anyway, I'm going to show you this. And this is a recorded phone call between me and some other guy. And he is totally lying about a donation. Okay? Totally lying. This fucking guy is just bullshit. And this is this is for a view, okay? This is so he can get
30, just calling back there. I got off the phone there. I talked to my boys,
his
told them
voice.
basically what you said. They just want to make sure like that was the only a case, right? Like of that type of charge. Like there was no other ones of like the cruelty to animals, right? Okay, and like I said, I think
got a criminal record. I'm not denying I have a criminal record.
no, that was the only one they cared about. Like I said, because their main concern was, you're defending an ostrich farm, and you have cruelty to animal conviction. That's what they were saying to me, right?
An article that was going back to 1980.
Yeah, no, and I completely understand, and I defended you, and like I said, and that's exactly what I said. It was just holding up the donations. That's all. Like it's a sizable amount, Rudy. I'm not gonna
Sizable amount, my ass.
large. So these guys want to.
That was a lie. Okay? And this is what people are doing. Okay? They're making phone calls to me. This guy is anyway. And I'm telling the truth. Okay? Like I said, I don't give a flying fuck what you or whoever wants to dig up on my past. I don't give a flying fuck. Okay? This guy, so he phones me and he's acting like a good supporter and all this shit and all this bullshit and these guys have been working on some fucking donation, which is bullshit. Okay? Because I've never received any donation from this clown or any other clown that I was talking about. Okay? It was a lie. That was a lie to start with. Okay? So the guy's already, boxing me into some little corner he thinks he's going to get a lot of views for. All the power to you, buddy. Okay? Because I don't give a flying fuck. I don't give a flying fuck. Just like 39 million Canadians don't give a flying fuck. That's what it amounts to. How many demonstrations have I been to over 10 years? Come on. Quite a few. I've given speeches at a few for this country to wake people up. And the worst thing that ever fucking happened, okay, to our country so far was COVID-19. The biggest fucking lie in Canada. The biggest fucking fraud on all Canadians was COVID-19. And if you're going to sit back and say to me, well, COVID was real. I had family die from COVID. You know what I'm going to say to you? Bullshit. Bullshit. Oh, we put the mask on to protect you, protect others. You know what I say to that? Bullshit. Because that's what COVID-19 was. Bullshit. And I stated it back in 2020. I think it was 2020. I did a speech at the Saskatchewan legislature. And I called it bullshit then. Turns out I was right. COVID-19 was 20 years in the making or more. When something is that far deep and embedded in the making, of course it's bullshit. You don't make up something like that. In like, and all the trail, 20 years of it, you know, the fucking patents, all of it designed to make you, Johnny Public, think, oh, it's real. Well, it was bullshit. Now, the fucking shit that happened, for example, Adam Scully's case. You know Adam Scully, okay? The guy that had a brisket business in Ontario, and one day the cops came down there with a heavy hand and they fucked his business over COVID, over bullshit. They fucked him over bullshit. The case is going up in front of the courts on the 28th of this month. Adam Scully's case. Adam Scully's case is one of the most important fucking cases going up to the docket today. And is he going to get the support he needs? I wonder. I really do. I hope he does. I really do. Because he was one of the fucking fewest Canadians ever at that time to really stand up for the Canadian way and the Canadian rights and the whole bit. He was one that did it big style. Okay? Defied the cops, defied everything, opened up his fucking place. Hundreds of cops there to fuck him up. And the rest of it. Well, I'm sure you all know about the rest of it. Yeah, the rest of it was they were destroying other businesses as well. Not just Adam Scully's case, others as well. Okay? Sending around the COVID cops, fucking making sure you're social distancing and got masks on your face and all that fucking gold bullshit. All because of a lie. Policy. Experimental policy. Do you have any idea how many Canadians were really hit hard because they believed all this fucking bullshit? Okay? And they were threatened that if they didn't take a jab, they would lose their job. Okay? One girl did take the jab and she got paralyzed from the fucking neck down, I believe. And then they started offering her MAID as a result of the damage they were doing or had done. Yeah, real thank you very much, eh? We hit you with this bullshit fucking mRNA experimental fucking jab, never been properly tested and all this shit. And they fucking, enticed Canadians severely to take this jab, okay? And the effects of this jab, they want to cover it up for 15 years now, all right? Of all the people that were severely damaged by this jab. They want to cover this up for 15 years. They don't want Johnny Public, the Canadian taxpayer that's paying the most in North America in taxes for every fucking thing you can think of, including dying. They don't want you to know how fucking corrupt and dirty they were when it came to these jabs, the so-called vaccine, 99% effective or 98% effective, they said, right? Wasn't that what they were saying? And then there was all kinds of innuendo about, oh, the unjabbed, right? We don't want you on a train or a plane or we don't want you sitting next to us. This is the kind of fucking blarney that Trudeau was putting out. Remember? And then it got so bad, the truckers got together and they went to Ottawa. Sure, it got a little out of hand as far as organization, but it still was a point. The point being, the government was way out of line with what was going on, right? I mean, at Christmas time, the cops in Montreal busted into this family's house because there was too many people there at Christmas time, right? Too many people in your house. And the curfew, okay? They pulled out the Emergencies Act on Canadians and it was deemed breaking the law on behalf of the government. They didn't have the fucking threshold to pull out an Emergencies Act on Canadians. They just got found guilty of this, okay, recently. So the track record, if you want to go all the way back with the SNC Lavalin thing and all the rest of fucking Trudeau's bullshit, and now we have Mr. fucking Carney, okay, pulling more bullshit. More bullshit. Funding a war that we don't want to be in, okay? How many billions of dollars has Carney passed over to Ukraine now? And then he's on this EV kick, okay? He's going to funnel a lot more money into these electronic charging stations, more of these fucking stupid things in Canada, over addressing the one crisis that's happening in Canada, and that is how many homeless that there is living out there in tents year after year. This has been going on for a while now. How many people have died as a result of hypothermia or some of these other fucking, lack of medical care because these people, they're homeless. They got fuck all. It's a struggle for these people. I mean, an extreme struggle. More so than many of you could possibly fucking imagine. Because you don't give a shit in Canada. That's the way Canadians are. For some reason. I mean, when the fucking truckers went to fucking Ottawa and the fucking government freezes their bank accounts. And that was found to be illegal too. Killing a whole shitload of ostriches without testing them. Now there's another case, isn't it? The government has the right, supposedly according to policy, to come onto your farmland and mow down your entire livestock if they so feel like it. That's basically it, right? They don't have to test shit. They just have to say it. Do a phony PCR test. Oh yeah, this one's got it. You're done. Really? You know what a PCR test is, don't you? You know the inventor that invented the PCR test stated before him dying was the fact that it was never to be used as a medical diagnostic to determine sickness. In other words, don't use a PCR test to determine whether or not the patient is sick or not. That was very clear. What does the government do? They see this opportunity of being able to ramp it up, and they'll find whatever they want to find and manipulate the science. That's what happened. They manipulated the science. They manipulated the medical standard, the bar, if you want to call it that. And they did it in a big way because they accused certain doctors with fucking high credentials in their field. Dr. Hodgkinson, okay, out of Edmonton, okay? He called it bullshit, okay, in a shorter version. And they brought him up on the carpet. He won his case against his superiors, put it that way. And others have done the same. But 39 million Canadians are thinking it's okay, that this is normal. This is normal on behalf of what the government did to the people. This is normal. It's normal for social services to give underfunded amounts of money to single employable people so that they can't do shit. They can't rent an apartment. They can't maintain an apartment. If they happen to be in an apartment, you set up say you're in the welfare, you're going to go to the welfare and your unemployment ran out. Okay. And this has happened to me in the past. My unemployment runs out. My next step is social services. Okay. Okay. Social services doesn't pay enough on the bill side of things for you to maintain the apartment you're living in. In other words, you've already got housing and you're renting and blah, blah, blah. Your unemployment runs out because you can't find a job at the time. And now there's social services. Okay. That's the safety net for Canadians. But when you go to social services, you find out that they don't pay the amount that you are requiring to sustain yourself being in an apartment. I'm not even talking about luxuries or fuck all. I'm just talking about a roof over your head and to maintain the vehicle you've got, okay, so that you can go out and get a job. You know, if you don't sustain where you're at, what you're doing, then when it comes time for you're trying to find a job, well, the barrier is put up in front of you to prevent you from really accomplishing going to get a job. Because social services doesn't pay enough for you to sustain what's going on. But you, for years now, accept it. And then the next thing you call these homeless people is, oh, they're all a bunch of drug addicts. Well, that's not true. All these homeless people are there for an unknown reason, but I mean, the fact of the matter is they're not all drug addicts. Some are seniors, okay? A lot of them are seniors, actually. You know, if you really want to look at it hard enough. They're on a fixed income. If they've got an income, they should have an income, but they're on a fixed income. I mean, you can't, even with what I've got as a retirement, if I was to go out and pay for one of these $1,200 fucking apartments each month, okay, and then you wrap up the rest of the bills, I would have jack shit to get me through to the end of the month on my retirement. You're not going to sustain a normal living in a retirement, let alone when I was working. In the trucking industry, what I'm, picked as a career. See if I got it here.
ripped off by the very industry that depends on them. Trucks.
Let's see if I can start.
Every fuck.
I'm gonna what? No, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna try it again. I want you to get the start of this.
Being ripped off by the very industry that depends on them. Truck stops charge $20 for a shower, $10 to $30 just to park, even though drivers already spend thousands a month on fuel on the freight side. Drivers get hit with late fees, rebilling fees, rework fees, lumper fees, and detention without pay while still being held to strict hours of service clocks. Meanwhile, shippers, receivers, and brokers rarely face consequences. They break appointments, hold trucks for hours with no facilities, change terms, and undercut rates, all while shifting costs onto the driver and kicking them off their property. Every delay costs the driver time, money, and safety, yet the profits flow upward. The system is designed so the American trucker pays more at every step while everyone else in the supply chain makes extra profit. This isn't free market efficiency. It's cost shifting, and the driver is the one subsidizing it. You can't call it safety, and you can't call it fair when the person doing the work is the only one paying the price.
Very true, because that's how it is. I know. I used to do it. For 40 years, I did it. And that is, I mean, there's a little bit of a difference between Canada and US, but not much difference. That bullshit he's talking about, 16 or up to almost 16 bucks for a fucking shower and the shit food, you're stuck there. You can't just go, anywhere in town with a tractor trailer and fucking go have dinner. You're stuck there, okay? And this is what we're being provided with is this shit food most of the time. 'Cause it's all the fucking same every fucking day. And there's not enough parking in the lower mainland, let alone other places. Sometimes you have to fucking end up on the street and sleep there. No shower available, no food, no fuck all. So you get smart. You start to cook in your truck and stuff like that. But even that's a price. Because if that fucking fridge fucks up on you, you're fucked. There goes all your fucking food. What I'm basically saying, ladies and gentlemen, is Canadians don't give a fuck. Except for themselves. And I've seen it for 10 years now. 10 years I've seen this. And I've been out there to lots of protests. I've done speeches. I've said it, and I've said it over and over and over again. The poor people in Canada are not being given a fair shake. Oh, but we'll give the migrants, okay, lots, okay? We'll put them up in hotels while our people are out on the street freezing their asses off. And it's been going on for some time now. Didn't just happen yesterday. Migrants come in and they're getting all the fucking help they can fucking hand out to these people just to come to Canada and claim you want to be a Canadian citizen. Well, why is it that these migrants would love to come to Canada? What are they being told in their country about coming to Canada? And who's putting the bill for that advertising? Because that costs money, okay? We're talking a big chunk of change to bring these people here. And then you've got the illegal ones that are coming here too. They were coming across Roxon Road, and the RCMP were baggage boys. Okay. Next up, hotel. Well, obviously there was a hotel because you didn't see them on in droves on the street, like the people that were already there. Okay, didn't see that. No, I went to one of the demonstrations in Calgary, the Westin Hotel. All migrants being put up there. Oh no, sorry. That was over a protest of the the bullshit. What was it? The quarantine bullshit. They were putting these people in hotel, and they were making these people pay for it. Okay, but the hotel, the migrant hotel thing, still worked. I mean, it still was there. Okay, but this was an addition. That protest, now that I think about it, was about the quarantine bullshit. They were making people do, like when they came across the border, and the bullshit fucking um the app, the can app or whatever the fuck it was, the fucking bullshit app, okay, that Canadians paid a shitload of money for, the Arrive Cam scam, okay, and then they would put these people, these Canadians, into a quarantine, a bullshit quarantine, and they would be passed the bill. Remember that? There was a lot of shit going on as a result of COVID-19, and it was all bullshit. So 3 or 4 years later, we see Carney slide into office and the bullshit Carney's doing. He wants to make a deal with China and pissed off our American fucking neighbors to the south. Okay? And he's breaching some fucking trade laws or some shit anyway, he goes over to China. He makes a deal with China, to bring in all these electrical vehicles. Okay, now these electric vehicles are shit, I'll tell you. As an experienced trucker, if you are going to be stupid enough, okay, to buy these electric vehicles, then you deserve what you get coming, because I'm going to tell you, these are worse than the K car. And that's all I'm going to say. And you know how bad the K cars were. A unibody, okay? That when the tires snapped off the body, that was it for the car. I know, because I owned one. But I didn't know about the unibody thing. It was a cheap car. I needed a car. I bought the car. And then after I found out all this shit about this car, I thought, holy fuck. And sure enough, the fucking tire falls off and the car's fucked. And can't be fixed. So it's fucked. So I had to go buy another fucking cheap car as a result of that fucking car. Well, electric cars are worse than those cars. Put it that way. They're nothing but a fucking lemon. Look at the fucking electric buses. How much was it a bus? Over $1 million a bus. And Saskatoon got some, and all these other places got some of these fucking buses. And half of them, or most of them, are in the fucking shop, okay, in the wintertime, because they don't operate like normal diesel engines when it comes to winter weather. Okay, they're fucked. And in the summertime, chances are they might catch fire. Okay, and this is what they're putting you through because they bought these fucking buses for you to ride on. And they're turning out to be shit. And now we've got 28 in here. You see what I mean? My point is pretty much there. You know what I mean? My point is that not enough Canadians give a fuck about their country. So I have some reservations about continuing the broadcast. I really do. So over the next few days, I'm going to be considering whether or not to continue the broadcast because it looks like, it may be every man for himself in Canada. Because if Canadians are not going to stand up for Canadians, then what the fuck would you stand up for? Carney's bullshit war, right? Suck you into fucking funneling fucking billions of dollars to Ukraine. We're going to fucking stand for that. We're going to stand behind that. Or the deal he just made with the chinks for all these EV vehicles. Oh, he's going to take our tax dollars and he's going to pump it into charging stations now, okay? Instead of the homeless or any fucking shit like that. Anything to deal with humanity. Oh no. He's got his little paws in the backwash of the money. I mean, after all, there's got that fucking company there, eh? What's the name of that company that Carney's involved with? You know, there's this big company. It keeps evading my head because, uh, you know, something rock or whatever the fuck it is. Not BlackRock. That's not that. It's something else. Um, what's the name of that company that Carney's got there? Brookfield. That's it. Thank you. Thank you, Rodney. Brookfield. You know, with Brookfield in the backdrop there, and they got their little hands in that Ukraine money, and Krista Freeland is there. Now, if you think Krista Freeland is a nice politician, then you've got some screws loose, okay? And all this money went to Ukraine, and that is where her new post is. There's definitely something really fucking shady going on here, don't you think? It's sickening, is what it is, Canadians. It's sickening, okay? I mean, you got to take my perspective on this, okay? That over 10 years now, I've done this broadcast and I've said to Canadians, look, we have a fucking problem here, okay? And I've pointed out the problems. I've even had guests on the show about different problems of our country. One guy was homeless and he would sooner stand on the street corner and beg for money than go to deal with fucking maybe social services or whatever, or go to a fucking one of these stupid shelters that they've got in Edmonton. The homelessness problem in Edmonton is beyond thinking. Okay, I mean, it's if you really started to look into the homelessness problem in Edmonton alone, all right, it's huge. And Calgary, it's huge. Okay, Vancouver, huge. In fact, right across the damn board. Okay, if you want to talk about it, it's unbelievable. But yet people are doing it because they got no choice. Not because they want to do it, but they have no choice. And then they've got these guys out there want to point the finger at me over my so-called past, which really you don't know anything about and it's none of your fucking business anyway. I mean, if you can't even stand up against a corrupt government, what the fuck? What the fuck? That's how it is in Canada because people don't give a shit. Never did. Because the social services department's been like that for years now. Okay? Years. Didn't just happen yesterday. And then you hear about this big handout that Carney's going to give to relieve you of the grocery bill and or some fucking shit. You know what that's going to amount to? Jack shit. It's not just single employable people out there on the streets, ladies and gentlemen. It's women, children, and men of all types and races, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Okay? You know, there's a big fucking problem in Canada. But, you know, we put together this January 31st thing because the government needs to listen to the people. And so I got involved along with a lot of other people to pull off January 31st. And we all seen what happened there. It was pitiful. It was pitiful. And don't give me this excuse that, oh, it was too cold in some places of the country. You know something? There are people out there enduring the cold, not because they don't like it, but because they have to. All right? I mean, that's not thinking about those people, is it? When you got to say something like that. Oh, it's too cold that day. I took at least 5 homeless in the past. The government cares shit. See, here it is. No, there it is. More money for immigrants. Here, look at it. Here's another one. More money for immigrants. No, I haven't had supper yet. Canada's here. No, sorry, Carney is here to liquidate the assets of the Corporation of Canada. Now, who's the Corporation of Canada? I mean, the government of Canada. I mean, it's supposed to be the people, okay, that the government listens to. But that's not what's happening. Okay? That's not what's happening. The government is slowly eroding your rights and your shit, everything. And you know, 39 million Canadians don't give a flying fuck. You know, 39 million Canadians just don't give a flying fuck. What's this one here? I don't know what the fuck. But now this thing is fucking around here. I hope Alberta separates from Canada. That's what's happening is with all this bullshit in Canada, we've got the country now being torn apart. Okay, Alberta wants to separate, and I'll bet you they'll get enough signatures to do a referendum. I'll bet you they'll get enough signatures on that referendum. I'll bet you. Because it's a fucked up system. Other people are rebroadcasting your live. Be safe. I'm always safe. Here's a right. Yeah. So the thing is, where do we go from here, right? I mean, like, it's stagnant. And in the courts, it was already deemed, against the Charter of Rights and Freedoms and all that other shit. That what the government did with the freezing of the bank accounts, the pulling out of the Emergencies Act, and all that shit, all deemed illegal. But who's getting their fucking paws slapped? Nobody. Okay. You know, this is another big tax thing. I mean, you're paying for these court cases, okay, and taxes and shit. And these big court cases go to court, and the government gets found to be the bad guy. And what happens to the government? Or what happens to the people in charge of making those bullshit decisions? Nothing. Or maybe a little fine, maybe. Other than that, they're walking away scot free. They don't give a fuck. And if the people aren't going to stand up and give a fuck, what the fuck? Basically, that's the big question. What the fuck is happening to our country with all this shit going on? Adam Scully's case is coming up on the 28th of February. It ought to be fucking interesting. You know, that's the enchilada of cases regarding the COVID thing as the effect that they did to him. It was quite the fucking fiasco. Right? Anyway, I think that does it for me for tonight. I hope everybody's doing well out there. Thanks for tuning in. How's my leg doing? It's still doing the same shit. It's still puffing out, but what I'm doing now is I'm just applying pressure to it, and I don't fucking know. But it's still an issue. It's still there. Big fucking bump on my leg. Um, uh, yeah, there you go. This mega center. But they're building a mega center that will bring AI and digital infrastructure, tracking, tracing, and repeat, whatever that. This is a comment here. There, that's a good one. Yeah, I'll have a good night. Hi, Shane. How you doing? you know, so um, yeah. Well, I mean, what difference would it make? To really do anything or say anything now? Okay, like, what difference does it make? Because you know, Canadians aren't fucking taking part in shaping their country in any way. Okay. So all this homelessness that we have on our streets and stuff today, it's going to keep going on. It's going to get worse. Prices are going to keep going up. Rents are going to keep going up. Shit's happening in Canada, people, and people don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. That's what it comes down to. Canadians don't really give a fuck. They'll send a bunch of truckers to Ottawa, make a big fucking stink out of it. But that's it. That's all. Well, thank you very much, Canadians, for standing up for them guys, us guys, or whatever, for all the good that it did. Because you got to keep it going. You can't just go out there for one day and protest out of how many years. And and driving past protests and honking your horn, not stopping and joining a protest, doesn't help. And people say, well, protesting, it doesn't fucking do shit. Well, I guess not if you don't do it in a big number, right? If there's only 10 of you out there and you think it's going to make a difference, it ain't going to make a fucking difference. You're right. But when you get 1,000,000 people out there, it'll make a difference. But not 1,000,000 people showed up, did they? That's it for me for tonight, guys. Thanks again for joining. And if you want to support the broadcast, it's rudybruce@gmail.com. I accept e-transfers, and it's an ongoing thing. And yes, over the next few days, I'm going to continue. I'm going to consider whether or not to continue the broadcast, because I've done this over 10 years now. I've done speeches. I've done things. I've gone to protests, and you know, I like to see results, but I'm not getting results. So maybe I'm doing something wrong. I don't know. But if I broadcast, I expect some results, just like a number of viewers. Okay, we have 38 now. We have 38 viewers in here. You know what I mean? What are we doing? That's the thing. What are we really doing? Till next time, have a good night, everybody. And I'm out.